time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
There we go. No better time of year than March Madness. And the original version there, or the 90s version, with the little guitar at the beginning. Hit that again, Bill. That's so good. Take it from the top. There we go. All right, Bill. Where are we right now in Greenville, South Carolina?
Where I've got it. Yeah, I know you've got over-the-air cable, I think, in that room. I do not have cable in my room. I'm only at 37 seconds left in the game, so don't spoil it.
No, I don't have over-the-air cable. I'm on the YouTube.com TVs.
Gotcha.
That are so popular with the young people. Why you? I tell you what, between you and Spencer, with the Pilk is just so worked up. Between you and Spencer with the Wood Ducks, you guys must think I'm some kind of boomer or something. Duke,
well, I got over the air at my house.
16 seconds.
Okay.
2 possessions in 16 seconds, Pilk. You're fine.
I got over the air at my house. I got the old school flat antenna at my house in case the internet goes out. Well, if the internet goes out and there's a tornado coming, I got to know I got to be able to watch the local news.
That's a good point. You got to be able to see what's going on.
And then also, if the internet goes out, the Panthers are on. I got Fox. I got the normal. You always watch over the air if you can. You don't put any extra strain on the internet because you got a better chance of buffering. You got a better chance of any of that horse manure happening. So now I'm a big over the air when I can get it guy.
All right. Kim McNeill's going to be with us today. We got a great interview with her lined up. I'm not sure we're going to get to the interview with the author today, Pilk. I don't think that's happening today, which is fine.
Yeah.
We could do it either tomorrow or next week. I do know Jake Jacobs will be with us tomorrow talking some ECU baseball, and Jake has gotten into the coaching game, so we'll ask him a little about that. Can you breathe now, Pilk? I'm trying to vamp so you can breathe and feel good about where this thing is.
If you're ahead of me, if it's good, I guess if it's good, just go ahead. And I'm guessing Sienna calls time out here.
I don't want to spoil this for you, Pilk. I'm just
no foul.
All right. Can you breathe now, Pilk?
I cannot. No, there's 10 seconds left, and it's only a 4-point game. I'm not breathing.
Okay. 10 seconds remain as Duke leads Sienna by 4 points. Duke ball, though.
Duke ball. Can run the baseline. No timeouts
Can
left
run
for
the
Saints.
baseline. Yes. Now, here's what's interesting about that game. Duke actually was trailing Sienna by 13 points in this game. That's the largest deficit Duke has had all year. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can, because there are only 2 losses. They were up by 40 and blew it.
Well, they weren't up by 40, but they were up.
Felt like it.
And blew it. They were up by double digits, I think, in both instances, and blew it. They've hit a free throw, Pilk. So it's
okay.
Duke
got fouled. They got the game. As long as Duke got the original ball in bounds.
They did. Now, here's what's also interesting about this Sienna thing. The last Sienna, unless they've made a change here in the last couple of minutes, they have played their starters the entire game. They have played the same 5 guys. Now, they got guys who average 3 points a game in this starting lineup who are having career days. So, tip of the cap to Sienna. But Jerry McNamara, the old Syracuse guard, I never liked Jerry McNamara as a player, and I don't like him as the Sienna coach. But he's played 5 guys. You know the last time that happened, Pilk?
DePaul in the semis of 79 when they lost to Larry Bird.
Indiana State. And Larry Bird, and we've got the author of the book about Larry Bird going to Indiana State in the can. We either will have it for you tomorrow or have it for you next week. But can you believe that? I'm trying to vamp here. So
no, I can't.
All right, yeah, you can, Bill.
Okay, no, I'm saying I can't believe that. All right. If we can believe, okay, good. Yeah, we're good.
All right, take a deep breath, Pilk.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It was a little nerve-wracking, I have to admit. Mm-hmm. All right, this will lead us into the top 5 and hot 5, including A little March Madness. Hey, let me ask you this. When we talk about March Madness for 2 or 3 of these topics, can you put on loop the CBS song, or is that too much to ask for in this moment in time?
Can I do it? Yes. Is YouTube going to be mad at us? Probably.
Okay, well then don't do it. It's a CBS song. All right, anyway, let's go. Top 5 at 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
And being the clever professional I am, Pilk, I have the audio I was talking about with the High Point coach. I was able to ascertain that. All the things I do for you. I let you watch the game so you didn't have to panic. I got the audio for you.
I know. You're a wonderful man.
I was watching the game. I was watching the game, too, up until literally it was time to go on the air. So.
I know. I was sitting out there in the lobby. Jan and I are watching. I'm like, is PJ texting me? And I'm like, nah, if there's any host, I don't have to worry about bothering me knowing how stressed I am right now. PJ gets it.
All right, number 1, Pilk. Let's start with the game that just went final.
Yeah, give credit to Duke for going to a zone, because if they don't go to that zone, they don't win that game. When you lose games like this, it's because you play bad defense early, and then the team you're playing gets confidence, and they kick your tail. And Siena had the confidence to win this basketball game because Duke was lackluster early, and then they changed the zone and suffocated them. And I can guarantee you, if you're playing Siena next year, don't run a zone, because they're going to know what mistakes not to make.
Now, a couple of notes from this game. First of all, Cameron Boozer, 39 minutes, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Caden Boozer was great.
He was.
19 points for Caden Boozer on 9 of 16 from the floor. Siena, I kid you not, played the same 5 guys 40 minutes. That's unbelievable to me. And they nearly pulled off the shocker of shockers, led the number 1 overall seed by 13 points. Duke able to win by 6. The Blue Devils, what is the anatomy of an upset, especially in the NCAA tournament? What is the anatomy generally of an upset? Go ahead. Tell me.
I was going to say it's usually a team who hits a couple early shots, and then they just gain confidence, and they start jacking up stuff they would never take, and it's just going in.
There's a little bit of that today, but it's double-digit threes. Look at every time that a team is upset a higher seed, especially in those really dramatic ones.
Yeah.
That's because the low seed has hit threes. They made 9 threes today, did Siena. Usually it's double-digit threes. Duke, 5 out of 26, 20%. We've seen a lot of 20% three-point shooting for the last couple of seasons, especially this season at times, from the team in purple and gold. So I can tell you, 4 out of 20 ain't going to cut it. You got to make more threes than that. And to your credit, Pilkington, you have said all year that Duke has got to be able to shoot the 3. You've been very concerned about that, and they did not shoot it today, and yet they squeaked by in Greenville.
TCU's scary, man. That's all I got to say. I wanted Ohio State to win even before TCU got that big lead. But no, you're right. I mean, go back to UMBC. I mean, they couldn't miss from downtown. I don't 100% remember the Fairleigh Dickinson game because we had a home baseball game, and I was had it on the iPad in the press box, but I was trying to work. But yeah, so many of those teams have just loaded. I mean, you think of Lehigh against Duke, CJ McCullough, they hit a lot of threes that night. So yeah, that is big.
It's the anatomy of an upset from a lower seed. They usually are guys that have experienced guys on their team, and that's what Siena had today. But Duke holds on to win and will advance on to take on TCU. That'll be Saturday. I bet that will be in a primetime spot.
Number 2.
Number 2? Duke's not the only team from North Carolina to get a win today. How about the Panthers, baby? It's been a good 24 hours to be a Panther. Prairie View A&M, who we don't care about, but they won. First tournament win, I think. Or no, that was their second. And High Point gets their first tournament win.
How about last night, though, Miami of Ohio's fans? I mean, it's 2 hours from their campus. It'd be like...
You'd think it was on
campus.
It'd
be like East Carolina playing a game at the Lenovo Center in the tournament. I mean, it would be that kind of thing. That's the proximity. And their fans showed up and showed out. It was a lot of fun. This is the High Point coach, who is a maniac. after the game on CBS.
Your first NCAA tournament game, Coach Klayman.
It looks pretty obvious to me that high majors need to play mid-majors during the season because they said we ain't played nobody. We played somebody now.
How'd you do it?
Feels unreal because I know how good of a team we had, but nobody would play us, just like they wouldn't play Miami, Ohio. But they got to play us in this tournament.
Pilk, when I was a kid, we would go up and play in the High Point basketball camp, and then Coach took his teams to the High Point basketball camp, and I would go basically to make sure that the kids got from the this was when I was like in college and that kind of thing, and I would go and make sure that the high school kids got from the dorm to the gym for their game. You know, just kind of shepherding them along, got a little bit of scratch for it. It was a lot of fun. And who'd have thought during those days that High Point would pull the 12-5 upset against Whiskey today? What are we talking? What's the anatomy of a defeat, an upset of a lower seed over a high seed in the tournament? It is double-digit threes, right?
Double-digit trays.
High Point made 15 of them today.
Ooh.
Last night, Miami of Ohio made 16. Double-digit threes. Look for that today as you go through all of the results. Let me see what's
You know what's great about this, though, PJ? High Point students don't have to worry about rebooking their flights because they chartered a flight out there. High Point chartered their student section to Portland. Tell me you pay $70,000 a year without telling me you pay $70,000 a year, baby. But I love it. Credit to the High Point upper administration. Bravo, you charter your students out to Portland, you get the win.
They will have applications go through the roof. You can bet that. Their president, Nito Cubian, Nito is what they call him. You know, he's raised a ton of money, Pilk, ton of money. Michigan State, right now, no problem with North Dakota State. It is Arkansas by a dozen over Hawaii. These are some of the other results. Louisville kind of withstood a rally from South Florida and ended up winning today.
Yeah, South Florida dug themselves in a hole, PJ. They played great down the stretch. They early looked intimidated almost, which was weird.
Yeah. TCU got a big lead. Ohio State came back, but TCU won. They'll play Duke next. As we said, Louisville over South Florida today. Nebraska gets their first ever tournament win as they blow out Troy. So my buddy Allie from ECU Sports Properties, unhappy today. Anything else going on? Everything else is tonight, which you got
Vandy and McNeese right now in a pretty interesting game. Did we mention that?
Well, McNeese actually was out big in that game. I thought I'd mention that, but McNeese was big out a lot in that game, and Vanderbilt hit them with a 7-0 run to start things out of halftime and have been able to kind of keep McNeese at arm's length. It is 68-60, Vandy over McNeese with 3 minutes to go in that one. For those of you that may have placed a little action on the games today, just in case. Let's see here. Later on tonight, let's get to that.
Number 3. We got 8 more games to talk about, including the round game that included his time in Lawrence.
Yep.
Round game that included his time in Lawrence.
Yep. I don't know. I think VCU wins tonight. It's just me, maybe. I think VCU wins tonight. Look, Duke fans, you better hope VCU wins tonight because you don't want to be playing in that building on Saturday with the right to go to the Sweet 16 and have North Carolina fans in there because they will take over.
Thanks for the PTSD, PJ, because that happened in that building in the exact same scenario in 2017.
Yep. That happened in that building about a decade ago. And so tonight, if you're a Duke fan, and really if you're a red-blooded American, you should be rooting for VCU anyway over North Carolina. I mean, but yeah, if you're a Duke fan, you're definitely rooting for the Rams tonight. St. Mary's, Texas A&M, I think that's interesting. We'll see what Texas does against BYU. Another 8-9 game tonight will be St. Louis and Georgia. Remember Coach P from Kennesaw State a couple of years ago? It was his first year there when he brought him to the MT. Great guy. Awesome fella. I'm rooting for them tonight against the Zags. Houston will be in action against Idaho, Illinois, and Penn. The fighting Fran McCaffreys.
Fran McCaffrey, our guy TJ Power, baby.
to say, TJ Power had 44 points and 14 rebounds. And they won in the Ivy Championship. And the only reason I know that is because Penn was playing ECU this weekend in baseball, as we know. And we gave an update on the Penn result for both of their fans that were watching the baseball game.
Well, the coach was texting us about it, too.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That is true. Coach is probably very nervous about this whole thing. He's probably breathing a little easy now.
Yeah.
Is there a must-see tonight for you, Pilk? Obviously, I think around these parts, again, go Rams go as they take on UNC. But any other games that you would like to see tonight? Of course, Michigan's in action against Howard. Any other of these games that you think is, okay, must-watch TV tonight? They all look, especially those certain ones, look pretty good. I think A&M and St. Mary's will be interesting. I do think Texas and BYU will be. I think Penn could make it interesting with Illinois for a little bit. Again, the anatomy of the upset hit the threes. Georgia, St. Louis. St. Louis got off to a fantastic start this year.
I like the Billikens, and I've really enjoyed watching this team this year. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm really looking forward to that game. If you asked me just kind of coming in non-biased, obviously I'm always going to be, my second favorite team's whoever's playing Carolina, so I care the most about the VCU-Carolina game. But non-biased, just pure basketball, Georgia, St. Louis was my pick for the out of these 8 games if I've got to watch one tonight. If you got the wife who only lets you watch one game of the 8 because she wants help with the kids or wants to go out to dinner, that's the one you need to plan around.
All right. Top 5 at 5 rolls on.
4.
Number 4. Well, you can now 9 hot dog, 9 inning is the New York Mets. They now sell a box for the 999 challenge.
Okay. Explain what this is. For the vast video audience, you have a picture of this on the screen, which looks like hot dogs and beer in a box.
So it's a box with 9 hot dogs, 9 beers. You can do the 999 challenge, and you don't even have to get out of your seat. Now, it's $60. They did say that this is they are smaller hot dogs and only 4-ounce beers. So this is kind of a quasi 999 challenge, but I still think they're going to be able to make a killing. They're going to get some moron college kids like Dom Kasolki, who would 100% attempt this. Hey, Kasolki one time did it during an ECU baseball game. We were in the studios. They couldn't do the beers because they were here. They did the watch-along. Right. He ate 9 Sup Dogs hot dogs in 9 innings. Dom can eat, man.
He could have drank beer during the watch-along because it's the watch-along. He wasn't working, per se.
That's true. Well, you try and keep it a little classy inside the confines. If he'd have been in his own house, he was not logged into VMix. He was present in the IBX
I'm looking
studios.
at this on the screen here, and there are not now. I guess there's no special fixins.
You don't want extra fixins.
Down. I was going to say these are just hot dogs. Maybe you get a little mustard. They beers they're presenting are in glass what's look like glass New York Mets memorabilia. Is Joey Football a Mets fan or no?
He's a Yankees fan. Our guy Little Giglio.
Ben B. Baby Byron was a Mets fan. I wonder if Ben B. Baby would do this for sure.
Yeah, he would. He would attempt it for sure. Yeah. That'd be the only way he'd get Cookie to go to a baseball game. He might be able to tempt Cookie to go to a Mets game.
Yeah, that could work. Get Cookie to go to a baseball game, show a little fandom. Why not? By the way, per item, it comes out to $3.33. So I don't think that's actually a terrible price.
No. It's actually a great price. I mean, like I said, they're smaller than normal, but still, you're considering ballpark food, especially up in Queens.
Yeah. I mean, you could pull that off.
Yeah.
5.
Number 5.
Why don't you take Wags to a game and you guys try this at Clark LeClaire? Get a driver.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but Wags, the pickiest eater of all time, drinking 9 beers and 9 hot dogs. You kidding me?
Is Wags a picky eater?
Oh my goodness! It's like a 4-year-old eats dinosaur nuggets and cheese pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, spilling his business.
What's next?
Number 5, Andy Dalton has been traded for a 7th-round pick. We knew he was probably going to get traded after Kenny Pickett was signed, but only a 7th-round pick. I think that's a slap in the face for the guy who helped breed your young talent, your mentor, for the future of your franchise, or so you believe he's the future of your franchise, because you're still rolling with, the mayor of Munchkinland.
I will say this: Andy Dalton did not look good when the times he got in last season.
He had a sprained thumb.
Did not look good. Yeah, but he just did not look good. And I mean, I understand why you want him on your roster. The mentorship, a more than serviceable guy should you have to go to him. I don't know the situation in Philly, but I mean, is this good for Jalen Hurts? I guess it is.
Yeah, it's another voice in his head that can help him out. I feel bad for the Dalton family. It sounds like the family is rooted here. They want to stay here.
Charlotte. Yeah.
They're planning a retirement here, so he'll probably get an apartment, kind of do what Greg Olson did his final year. So that's
just rent.
Yeah, just rent.
Just rent. All right, more fun and frivolity on this Thursday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. As we are here with you.
Do it live.
That's right.
Do it live.
Doing it live on the drive home today.
Do it live.
When we come back, Kim McNiell will be on the telephone with us. She is the coach of ECU women's basketball, and we'll talk to Kim McNiell when we come back here on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Hey now.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
TMC, Pirate Nation, get ready. It's baseball season. We got hot dogs, apple pies, Buick, Enclave, Encore GX, Vision, and Vista, 0.9 and $2,000 off. Winter service special still going on, $210 in rebates on batteries, brakes, air filters, and wiper blades. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 rooftops, and 1 building to make sure you leave the happiest. Only at Brown & Wood, home of the lifetime power.
At ECU Health, everything we do is about you. It's about your health and the health of your family. is about nationally recognized heart and vascular care, personalized cancer treatments, award-winning neurological care, and advanced orthopedic solutions. It's about a community of healthcare right here in Eastern North Carolina. This is ECU Health, and ECU Health will always be about you. Visit ECUHealth.org to learn how.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show. Let's get started.
Deep breaths. Here we go.
Coach Kim McNiell joining us here on today's Patrick Johnson Show. Always great to catch up with one of our faves, Coach Kim. And what was a certainly excellent season for Pirate basketball. Not the way I know she wanted to finish it, and we'll get into a little bit of that. But, Kim, I think just the job you've done in establishing a program has been really magnificent. So I hope you know that is genuine and that we commend you for that because, this year there were a lot of questions coming into this season back in October. And, man, what a fine year for your program.
Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate that. As coaches, we always want more, and sometimes we don't take the time to really reflect on, where we started and where we are now. And, I always say a lot of times people only remember the ending. They don't remember, everything that went into it. And I know everybody, especially myself, nobody's no more disappointed than myself in how that last game went. But if you take time to reflect on what we did this year, I thought it was pretty impressive, especially with 10 new players, like you said, the unknown, losing, quote unquote, what was your best player, to the portal, and for us to be able to rebuild and tie, the most wins, in conference history into in conference history, I think it's pretty impressive. The thing is now we got to figure out a way to maintain it. I don't want to go from 2 to 7 or 8 next year. I want us to be, a team that's, consistently, in the top 3 or 4, in the league. And so that's my job, me and my staff's job to figure that out. And that's what we're doing right now.
Pilk, back me up on this. The thing we like about Coach Kim, I'll get this from you, I'll get this from listeners, I'll get this from Billy Gruber when he produces the games in the show. I love how Coach Kim tells the truth. They love it when you do the post-game interview with me on radio, which, by the way, we should be doing more radio, but that's a story for another
time. I know, right?
And people love it when we talk to you because you tell us what's on your mind there. But I do want to get into this with you. You're second place in a pretty decent conference. And obviously, when it's a one-bid league situation as it is now, Rice losing creates a little bit of a problem. It kind of knocks you out of the postseason for the NCAA sanctioned stuff. So what UTSA did, they knocked you off. They knocked off Rice. Tip of the hat to them. They got into the dance. But how does the league and its membership strengthen the perception and just all the metrics to allow multiple bids? We talk about this in men's basketball all the time. I'd love to.
We've gone down to a one bid league because we used to at least would get South Florida and Central Florida in. I think that was our last 2 that got in. No, I take that back. The year we won it, South Florida got in. So it was us in South Florida that year. So that was 23. So 23, we've now become a one bid league. Obviously, the landscape of college athletics has changed since then. The revenue share and NIL was just kind of coming into play back in 23, and now, you're dealing with revenue share. So, it's about money, Patrick. It is, and it is about the money that's being invested, into, the women's programs in our league, and that's, been a conversation that we've had every summer, in our head coaches meetings, and we need to schedule a little bit higher, but as coaches, you also have to be smart about where your program is and the talent level that you have because, Central Florida's and South Florida's in a little different position. Their revenue share is pretty high. So, every year, Jose would go out and he's playing 5 or 6 P4 teams because, he's able to get the talent, to be able to go up against that. I'm not in that situation. I'm not going to go out and schedule 5 or 6 P4 teams, because that's not where we are, So, there's a lot that goes into it. as a league, we have to invest and we have to get more recognition and put our league out there more, from the league office. And then, we have to commit to, women's basketball. We are in a football league. The American is known for football, and so that kind of, the money is a little bit different when you look at an A10 that is really a basketball league, so their money is going to basketball. So, and you're looking at it, and they're getting, last year for women's basketball, they got 3 teams in the NCAA. This year they got 2. And so it's investment, and I think, the ADs and everything are having conversations about, what they can do to, help our league and be more competitive, when it comes to women's basketball in this league.
I look at Rice, though, and I mean, 28 wins is 28 wins.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they look at it. It's the net. Yeah, it's the net. That's what they look at. They look at the net. And the net to me, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but the net to me, I think, is still beneficial for P4s. Because when you can look at a Big Ten or ACC or SEC, the bottom of their league, can still only needs to beat about 2 teams in their league, and their net's going to be better than ours because on a daily basis they're playing teams that are top 60 in the net. So whether they win or whether they lose, their net ranking is going to be higher than mine. So it's unfortunate. You look at the WBIT, there were 2 teams that made that tournament that had losing records. But their net ranking was higher than ours because on a day-to-day basis, they're going against teams that have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, net ranking. So, their net ranking is going to be higher than ours. I have a different belief of what postseason play should look like. But obviously I'm not the people that are sitting in those rooms making those decisions.
Yeah, but you can't have a losing record and go to the postseason. I don't care what your net is.
Yeah,
look, and I mean, I'm an advocate of all basketball in the women's game, but I mean, on the women's side with this WBIT thing, they got to figure that out. That's insane.
And it's a big deal, Patrick. It's a big deal now to play in that WBIT because it is NCAA sponsored. So no money is coming out of the pockets of the institutions, so it's literally being ran like the NIT on the men's side. So, P4s aren't going to turn it down now. They want to play in it because it is a big tournament, and it's, we're trying to build it up just as big as, the NIT is for the men.
Tournament expansion. What's your just belief on that? We talk about it again on the men's side, but I mean, this is stuff that impacts the women's game too. I mean, what is your true opinion on expanding the tournament? The big tournament.
I mean, obviously you don't want to make it too big because you do want to make it, a situation where you are rewarded, for your success throughout your season. I don't know how much bigger it can get, I think that's why, on the women's side, we did go to, the WBIT and making it an NCAA function. I would like to see that expanded a little bit. Right now I think we're at 32 teams. I would like to see that tournament expanded a little bit more so it would give, the mid-majors an opportunity to play in postseason play. It's unfortunate that we had the year that we had, and that's it. 22 wins, 14 wins in conference play, and 1 loss, and we're done. So I would like to see, the WBIT expanded a little bit more. I think, probably the NCAA, maybe 4 more teams, maybe is probably the most it can go to. I don't know. It's just, we've grown a lot in women's basketball, but I still think we have a lot of growing to do.
Yeah. Kim McNiell, ECU women's basketball coach, on the line with us here. Should the conference do a push to get a classic or a challenge, I guess would be the better term, with another conference? I mean, should the conference kind of step up and help, put the American teams in a matchup against, I don't know, Mountain West, A10, somebody, maybe even.
I think Tim Pernetti has done a good job his 2 years that he's been in the American. I think you've seen a lot of change to it. He's very visible. He's at games, he's on campuses. I love his energy. I think he's done a good job in the last 2 years. And so we've brought that up in our head coaches meetings the last 2 years. And I think they're working on that. They're working on, doing, like what they have, the ACC, SEC challenge,
yeah.
So I think he's working on, doing that, for the American. I'm not sure which league it's going to be with yet, but I know there has been a lot of talk of doing something to that extent, because I think it definitely would help us, in playing, some good net ranked teams. I'll be honest with you, we have a hard time, like in scheduling, like we have a hard time scheduling teams with, a good net ranking. They don't look at it as, anything that's going to help them. They want to play, high net ranking teams. And then obviously if they were to lose against us, that would look really bad. So it's been, ever since we won the championship, like it's been very hard for us to schedule games, and especially within a drive that we don't have to jump on a plane and go and play. It's been hard, so we've talked about that, and I think they're working on doing something to that extent.
Well, there's the net issue, but I also think too, your style and your teams are going to play hard, and nobody wants to face that. I mean, let's just be honest. It's a tough. You have a program that's tough to play, and that probably gives pause to a lot of teams. To be honest, I mean, I've
heard that.
In a way, but it's frustrating. Yeah, I know you have.
Yeah,
I know you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, the year that Kennedy Fauntleroy had is beyond special. When you brought her in, how did you sort of see her role, and how did her role blossom as the year went on, in your opinion?
I would say probably starting September, October, I started having conversations with her about what I thought she could do, for our team and what she could do in this league. Just watching her ability to play on both sides of the ball, I thought she would have a chance at, being Defensive Player of the Year and being, the Player of the Year in the league. She did a lot for us. She did, but she had some help too, with some veteran post players and 2 veteran wings. But, I was a point guard, so I'm a little bit biased when it comes to the point guard position. And that's why, it's hard, but it's good as a point guard, because I'm going to put a lot of onuses on you. I'm going to put a lot of responsibility on you, because my belief is you're only as good as your point guard. So your point guard and your head coach can't take days off in practice. They can't take days off in games. If they're doing that, you're probably going to lose. So that is hard, but it's also a good thing, because I think I have a great relationship with all my players, but I think it's definitely important that you have a good relationship with your point guard and you have a lot of communication with them on and off the floor. So Kennedy and I, spend a lot of time, we went lunches together, dinners together, constantly texting each other, watching games, texting, saying, hey, look, do you see this? Do you see that? Because we got to make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to being on that floor. And so, it's just a lot of responsibility when it comes to the point guard spot. And, this is probably the most minutes she's played, since her freshman year at Georgetown. And I thought she handled it well. And I'm looking forward to, talking with her and making sure that, she's told us that, she's going to come back this year.
Okay.
And so we're excited about that. And, just seeing her game grow some more. She talked this year about wanting to learn the position more, wanting to understand the position better. And I thought she had some growth in that. And I'm just, anxious to continue her growth when it comes to that position.
So Anjanae has graduated. I think Rembert graduates. Well, I'll let you tell. Who is a definite, they just by graduation, that attrition are leaving the program?
Anjanae Hutton is done with eligibility. Kiana Rembert is done with her eligibility. Savannah Brooks is done with her eligibility. And Bobby Smith is done with her eligibility.
Okay. Do you see Savannah maybe sticking around and being a head coach, or being a coach with you, or being a coach, or she wouldn't even want to go in that direction? Because I don't know. It just seems to me she could be someone that could be a coach for, be a part of somebody's program.
She definitely wants to coach. She either wants to be a strength coach, or she wants to coach basketball. So those are the 2 things that she's looking into doing. Once May comes around and she graduates, and I think she would make a great coach at either one of those. She loves the weight room, but I think she has as I've said before, unbelievable basketball IQ, where she sees things and she definitely understands the game. So I definitely think she would make a great addition to somebody's staff.
I wish we could have her for 2 or 3 more years.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. Yeah. All of them. I thought, all of the kids that we brought in, Kiana, Taylor, all of the transfer kids. I thought we were really lucky, to get what we got on the portal, just not as just players, but just as people, just people. I really pride myself on, the type of kids I have on my team and obviously my culture and the character that we have. And, I was talking to a fan the other day, and they were saying how they came to the high school games, and my 4 freshmen were standing out there in front of Minji's trying to figure out how they were going to get in the game. And they were like, hey, do you think we can get in? And they were like, yeah, you're women's basketball. Y'all can get in. But they just thought it was kind of unique how they were making sure that they were doing the right thing, not trying to do something they weren't supposed to do by sneaking in the game. They wanted to make sure they were, and a lot of kids don't do that. A lot of kids are like, hey, let's figure out how to get in this game for free. Well, my kids were sitting there thinking like, am I doing the right thing? I don't want to do the wrong thing. I want to make sure we're doing, what we're supposed to do. And I think that just credits my staff, and the type of kids that we want in this program and the type of kids that we want to represent Pirate Nation.
Kim McNiell with us here. So what will be the needs, that you feel like you're going to have to address in the portal? And how many, do you have any, what's the high school recruit number at this point? So give fans kind of, because, next year, it never stops. All that's going on. So, yeah. So what does all that look like right now as we have an eye to next year?
Yeah, Patrick, I'm really excited again about this freshman class that we're bringing in this year. I think we've, done a really good job when it comes to high school players, where I think a lot of programs are going away from high school kids. They want instant success. They want the portal. I want to coach. I want to recruit, and I want to coach high school kids. I think that's where the relationships are built. And if you know anything about my program, I'm all about culture. You recruit a high school kid for, years. You recruit a portal kid, depending on what direction you go in, you might recruit them for 10 days, and so what do you really know what you're getting? So with my high school, we've signed 5 high school kids. I'm extremely excited about all 5 of them. They're energy kids. Like, they are energy kids. They're leaders. They're winners. I would say all 4, one of them was hurt this year, so she wasn't able to play. But all 4 of them went very, very deep in their high school seasons this year. One of them won a Virginia State championship, which makes 2 state champion, 3 state. It's either 2 or 3 state championships that she's won with Princess Anne. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure if you know anything about basketball, you know about Princess Anne basketball in Virginia. So that's Tristan Rickenbacher, who's coming in next year, 6-foot kid, top 100 kid. She's ranked like number 96 in the nation. So that's, in my career here, that's 3 top 100 kids that I've been able to bring here to East Carolina, which I take huge pride in. She's the number 2 player in the state of Virginia in this senior class, and she's just a high motor kid. She is a winner. She is a winner. All she knows how to do is win. She rebounds the crap out of the ball. She's just a high energy, high motor kid that can go, put the ball on the floor, rebound and go coast to coast. She has range to the 3. I wouldn't call her a 3-point shooter, but she's a winner. Another kid from Virginia in Riley Height. Riley is a combo kid that actually lost to Tristan in the playoffs in the state of Virginia. They both played for Boo Williams, which everybody knows Boo Williams, and they know that program. Riley can shoot the crap out of the ball. She can defend, so she's another 2-way player that's coming into the program. Ava Rush is a 6'3" guard that's coming in out of South Carolina. Her team, Wando, lost in the state playoff, in the state championship game, so she's used to winning. And I went to see Ava play this year, and I think she hit 6 threes, and maybe one of them hit the rim. Yeah, when it goes in, it doesn't even touch the rim. I'm like, did that even touch the rim? Just can flat out stroke it, and she's 6'3" at the wing, and so she brings length to our team. Really good shot blocker, really good 1-2 dribble pull up. So really excited about her and her ability to shoot the ball. And then we have another young lady from Maryland. Smoot is what we call her. I don't know if you know anything about football, but Fred Smoot that played for the it's his daughter. So an athlete, about a 5'10" wing, unfortunately tore her ACL last summer, so wasn't able to play her high school ball. But it's going to put you in the mind of like a Sania Johnson. I think she maybe shoots the ball from the outside a little bit better than Sania did, but a really good defender, really good athlete, gets out in transition. But just a great kid, like just a character kid, a leader, really big into her faith, just, very vocal, and brings a lot of energy. So really excited about her. And then we have another young lady who's coming in from the Maryland area who just is a hard-nosed kid. She's about 6 foot, and she can play the 3-4 just like Tristan can, but, just highly taught kid out from Maryland who does a lot of, different stuff and just can play on both sides of the ball and just going to bring a lot of toughness to us. I watched her play in a game where she had a concussion and almost passed out when the AU game was over with. But that just shows, the toughness that she has and that she's bringing to our program. So just really excited about these 5 kids that are coming in. Just going to bring a different element to the team. So with that being said, we'll probably have about four more other kids 4 or 5 kids that we'll bring in off the portal.
I got you. When does the portal open? Is it on the same schedule as the men?
Yeah, what is that, the 6th or the 7th, like right after the Final Four? Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we got some time. I don't know how I feel about it. I know everybody wants kids to wait until, all the season's over with, but it's like you're sitting around waiting and, I'd rather know now than to have to wait another 2 weeks,
You're ready to go ahead and get everything in gear for next season. I know you are. So
Yes.
Anything, Kim, with the schedule you could tell us about non-conference wise? Anything like that?
No, we're not really able to talk about it until contracts are signed. There's a possibility that we may be playing somebody that I think everybody will be extremely excited about. I can't make that promise yet. That they have to drive, a little bit down, about an hour and some change down the road to watch us play against. We're still in talk. We're still in talks with them. The colors, I don't think people like those colors around here. So it could either be blue and white, it could be red and white, it could be, I can't say because that's not finalized yet. But it's still, a good competitive. It's got some returning games that, we have to pick up and play from last year. But just not able to talk a lot about it because contracts aren't signed yet.
What's the reaction? I know we're kind of all over the board here and we've circled back to scheduling, but what was the reaction among the coaches of the conference tournament only taking 10 rather than all 13? Has that been a discussion point any at all among the coaches in the league?
No, not once they made the decision. There wasn't a lot, to talk about. We talked about it this spring in the head coaches meetings, and everybody talked about it, and I don't think we really had a say in it. It's what the 80s wanted, and so what the 80s want, that's what they get. And I would hope that we would never be in the bottom 3. So
right. Yeah.
I did think it made regular season way more competitive. Because every game mattered and nobody wanted to be in that bottom 3. So I do think it made it, extremely competitive when it came to conference games. But, the way our season ended and kind of the timeline of everything, I think made it really tough for us to have our bye, right there at the end of the season and then turn around and pretty much have another bye. We basically played 2 games in 2 weeks and, that's tough. Basketball is a long season. It's the longest season in college athletics because we play both semesters. And, I think, when it comes around that time, kids just want to play. Like, they get tired of practice and they just want to play games. And, having those long time off like that, I making no excuses. We should have played better and should have had a better showing than what we had. But I do think the timing of everything really hurt us, with all the time off we had right there at the end of the season.
Yeah. Got to stay in a rhythm. Coach, enjoy what little bit of time before the portal opens. I know it's ongoing, and I know there's player meetings and other things going on, but wonderful to talk to you. And we'll look forward to catching up with you sometime in the near future, perhaps over the summer to talk about the new roster.
Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate you. I appreciate your constant interest in my program. My job and my goal here is to get Greenville, and Pirate Nation, Excited about women's basketball. I think we've definitely grown since I got here in 2019. My goal this off season, is to put together another great team and just try to figure out ways to get more people, in the stands. I'll say it all the time. I don't see any reason why we can't be averaging 2,000 people at our games. So that's one of my goals, this off season, to try to figure out how to put more people in the stands and just get more support. But I can always count on you, making a phone call and wanting to put me on your show. And so I so appreciate that. And I'm so grateful to you, Patrick.
Great to have you on. Kim McNiell with us here. All right, take a time out, come back, wrap up today's show, get you set for tomorrow right after this on the PJ Show.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern
Proudly
North Carolina.
supporting Pirate Bay.
This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Turn your car into cash with an instant Kelley Blue Book offer from Barber Hendrick Honda in Greenville. Go online to barberhendrickhonda.com to value your trade, explore inventory, and apply for financing, all from the comfort of home. At Barber Hendrick Honda, we have great deals on new inventory and an extensive used inventory that includes all makes and models. Schedule service for your vehicle online and take advantage of our monthly specials. Barber Hendrick Honda, a proud member of the Eastern North Carolina community at the point of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive.
You've got a lot of new convenience and gas stores in Pitt County, but there's only one local company, Country Mart, on Highway 11 between Greenville and Bethel and also in Stokes. And here's the big news for 26. Country Mart will soon open a new state-of-the-art store on Highway 11 across from Aiden Grifton High School.
Country Mart offers Shell rewards with a minimum of 3 cents and more off per gallon.
A full array of snacks, the coldest beer in Pitt County, and their world-famous cheese biscuits. Country Mart, Pitt County owned and operated. Shop local and save with Country Mart.
All right, thanks to Kim McNiell for being with us today. Duke beats Siena despite trailing by 3, the 16th seed. And we've got Carolina basketball on the oldie stations tonight with Go Rams Go as VCU takes on the Heels. Thanks to Bill. We'll see everybody tomorrow with Jake Jacobs. Fresh edition of the Patrick Johnson Show.